Okay. I got tired of the other week. Why my dad think it was my hair? He thought it was my hair when I went downstairs. I said, I really hope y'all can hear me. Hold on. The yardage is good. All right. So, did I even say what this video was about? I didn't. This video is going to be about working at a gym. Still not going to tell you where yet, the specific gym, but I work at a gym, and the way that I'm struggling. I like to look pretty crusty, as in not pretty crusty, but like she looks a little bit crusty, but she's gorgeous, you know, like you could tell. I'm just gonna tell you like a lot of my like weird crazy experiences, and we're gonna go through this together, because it's like I'm just as baffled as you are in some of these situations. The woman was too stunned to speak, quite literally. First fiasco, I think. This lady, right, so I don't know if I should give like proper context or if it really matters. Most gyms offer a 1-year contract, as in they're trying to make sure they get their money. So they're gonna have you sign up for a 1-year membership, and they're expecting you to pay those 12 months, correct? Now, mind you, our signatures quite literally are binding, right? You guys literally need to have this common sense. You sign something, which means you agreed to it, which means you're in a contract. You can't really go against that and be like, I'm going to my lawyer. Just a heads up. So anyway, this lady was mad that she signed on for a year contract, and we let people out of their year contracts due to a medical note, like you have an injury, you can no longer come to the gym, therefore it's a waste of your money. Understandable. Or if you move with proof of a move. This is also a disclaimer. I literally work at a gym, and I think it's probably one of the stupidest things for you to ever sign up for a gym membership, unless quite literally you will go like more than 3 to 4 times a week. And if you like to work out at home, then just stay home. There's no point, because I'm really tired of people coming in here asking for a gym membership, and then they want to be stupid and not pay for what they signed for, because it makes my life and my job harder. So it's just annoying at this point. All right, so this lady basically comes into our facility. I guess like from like the year before, I didn't work there then, but she was like, I hurt myself, I can't come out, I can't work out anymore because I have a physical injury. We said, great, you're in a year commitment, give us the medical note. She says, okay. 3 entire months go by. This lady's like, here's my doctor's note, refund me all that money from the first time I said I needed to cancel. And we said no, because it doesn't make any sense now, because now we're assuming that you no longer needed the medical note and that you were just okay with paying your membership as signed. Because if you need a medical, something happened to you, it shouldn't be difficult to get a medical note if something legitimately happened to you, correct? And if it's difficult, then clearly the doctor's fighting you and you don't really have a case, I'm assuming. I just don't like the way this wig is sitting, child. Anyways, long story short, this lady gets mad that we don't refund her like the full amount of the money that technically was ours, because she didn't provide a medical note to cancel until 3 months after she asked to cancel, which means that the 3 months until waiting for her to cancel and us charging her were rightfully assessed. She didn't like that, and I guess like we gave her maybe $100 back, and she's like, no, I need more than that, like I'm not working, blah blah blah. And I was like, you really should have thought about this 3 months ago when it happened. I don't know her full story, but anyway, I know that she's definitely in the wrong to me, regardless of what her story was actually, because she comes into the facility ready for a fight. She goes up to the manager and she's like, well, you know what, I'm gonna have my boyfriend come in with a metal bat, and then we can maybe talk about this more seriously. Maybe you'll take me seriously then. So we're throwing threats over $100 at a gym membership, because to me that's a little bit red flaggy. It's a little bit, I need to go to therapy, something's upsetting me, like something's wrong, I'm not all right. It's mental illness, isn't it? Just recently, like a couple weeks ago, 2 different things. One, some child, 14 years old, a whole baby, okay, passes out in the facility in the back while me and my boss and I are at the front desk, right? And then all of his other 14-year-old friends who all walked over from the high school go over and crowd the fella and yank him up off of the floor, and then they proceed to hold him up while he's standing like this, and they think that that's a great idea, and then they just keep holding him up until he regains the consciousness. They could have really hurt him, because you're not supposed to yank people up after they knocked out. You're not supposed to do that. I'm not a nurse, and you're not supposed to do that. The cleaning lady's a nurse, and when I told her, she said, you're not supposed to do that. So I know what I'm talking about. It's wrong, okay? You're not supposed to do that. It takes them like 2 minutes to come and get somebody, mind you, because like this is happening and my boss and I have no idea. We're out here at the computers at the front. They finally come like, hey, so this kid passed out, we're helping him right now, but just to let you know. Oh, what? So we both hop up and go running over to see, like, literally there's like at least 10 of these kids surrounding this the boy who passed out. Okay, what are you doing? What are you doing? So my boss goes over, is like, okay, back up, move away. Like I don't follow him because I have to man the front desk in case anything else happens, because you know. Anyway, so he has them move away because again they're crowding the dude and they've got him. So my boss helps the kid sit down and he's back there for a minute. The mom came in, a guardian came and got him. I don't know. But come to find out, the reason this happened is because he just recently was cleared to work out from having a concussion. He decided to do straight cardio, like on the row machine thingamajigger. That thing takes a lot of strength, by the way. For like a straight hour, he just did cardio for a straight hour. So you know with cardio, like you're, you know, like you're going. Apparently, he had also just gotten the vaccine. So there was just a lot of lightheadedness and stuff. Oh, and he also decided not to eat anything that day. Granted, I can't speak. I shouldn't speak because I don't eat. Another thing that happened that I also wasn't there for. It's either I'm always there for something or things happen when I'm on my days off. My coworker tells me, like, so we closed at 11 because we're not 24 hours right now because of Rona. And he tells me that like at 10:55, these 4 dudes come in. They're like, yeah, we're ready to work out. And like my coworker's like, oh, so sorry, like you gotta go, closing soon, I can't have you be here. And like they're drunk, they're all just drunk. I guess they were getting pretty rowdy is what it was. And you know, my coworker is like a big buff dude, big buff black dude. So he was like, oh, like no, these guys wanted to go throw down, they wanted to get down with it. And I was like, all right, can't have the fights in the gym, you know, can't have those. What happened was like they were like, oh yeah, we're not leaving. He goes, okay, well, I'll have to make you leave. He said, I'm gonna have to make you leave, whatever. And they're like, oh, ha ha ha, you must be mistaken because there's 4 of us and 1 of you. And that didn't sit right with my coworker. He says, all right. He goes from behind the desk and starts walking towards him, and they're like sizing him up or whatever, and they're like, oh, you know what? No. And they were slowly backing up or whatever. They're like, what are you gonna do, call the police? And he's like, yep, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Like, so my coworker calls the police, but then is also like walking towards them, and these guys are backing up or whatever. So he calls the police, and that kind of sends them also out the door, but they go and wait in their car on the outside of the facility. Then the cop comes in, whatever, questions my coworker, and is like, are those them right there? Yada yada yada. He gives them the 1 2 3, and he even makes a joke talking about that was going to be my extra workout for the night if I had to handle it. And the police officer laughs. And now I'm starting to think my coworker is one of them black folk who got connections with the popo, but we're not going to talk about that right now. So then when the cops start walking out towards the people, like they're literally like outside of our door, just looking inside from their car, waiting. I think they were waiting for my coworker to get off so they could jump him or something. They see the cops start walking towards him, and they just zoomed off, and that was the end of that. I'm like, again, at a gym. There was a time that my boss, he said he went outside to throw out trash one night when he had to close, and there was definitely some guy just out there just shooting straight up. And I said, in our lovely town? Oh, I genuinely didn't know it was like that here. Just got the shooters uppers in the back, you know, just the druggies. My old boss, I found this out after she got let go, but my old boss was pretty much a functioning alcoholic, and I wouldn't have no idea because I've never been around people who drink like that. But it explained so much after. And apparently before I even got there, before she was the manager, the manager before her, there was a whole little romantic thing going on, like a weird stalkerish thingy there going on there. Looking at like my experiences with her as a person, and then like finding out everything after, it's just like, is she living a lie? Was it a front, or is that actually her? And then, you know, the drinking just brings out a whole different side. But she would literally not be there the entirety of my shift. Like I would have to work from 8 to 4, and this woman wouldn't be coming in until like almost after 4, talking about oh, can you not leave the desk? Ma'am, my shift is over. It's because she was drinking. She apparently she would like bring bags of nips into the actual facility, and that's what was locked in the locker back there that she used to have. And it's wow. Raging alcoholics, you know. Just like 2 days ago, I literally walked into my job and the power's out. Now, mind you, something should have already kind of signaled to me that something wasn't necessarily correct when I pulled into like the overall plaza of where I was at, and the grocery store down the plaza had 3 different fire trucks outside of it, and I was just thinking, oh, it sucks to be them. No, turns out all the buildings are connected, yeah, but like it's all owned by the same person, yeah, but was I thinking that everybody's power was connected? Not necessarily that way. I go into our building and I was like, I couldn't clock in. That was the only thing that not the only thing that pissed me off, but I was like, I can't clock in. I shouldn't have to be here because I can't clock in. So I had to call my boss, and he wasn't coming in he had to cover it to close. So I was like, oh, he may not be awake, and he didn't answer. And I had to leave a voicemail, and I'm sitting here like, oh, this man's sleeping in, and it's gonna be like 3 hours before he gets back to me, and I don't know what to do here. I couldn't turn on no computers. I couldn't, like, the door that unlocks wasn't unlocking because it's connected to the power. And like the members had pulled the entry rug to keep the door open. But my thing that really baffles me even now thinking about it is the people who were there, right? Like they got there mad early, like the 5 a.m.ers, the 4 a.m.ers, whatever, and the power wasn't off yet. But then my thing is, why did you stay when you saw the power go out? Like the way that I went around and I saw like some people just on the ellipticals and on the treadmills just in blatant darkness, just blatant dark. Like it was dark, the whole overhead was gone, everything was off, bathrooms pitch black. Like, why are you all still here? You didn't think maybe it was time to go home? Anyway, so he did call me back like within like the next 5 minutes or whatever, and he was like, okay, let me call the regional, yada yada yada. I was just upset that I didn't get sent home immediately. I watched the PT place next door. Yeah, what's going on? Blah blah blah. And they closed instantly. I mean, they came back when the power came back on, but they left instantly. They said, yeah, we're not staying here. So my boss tells me to kick everybody out, which I do. I was like, what? I turned off the music. I said, I'm so sorry. Y'all got to go. It's a liability. It was a liability. They technically really can't do that because if they got hurt in the dark, they'd be on us. I had to kick them out. We had to cancel the morning classes. Kicking out part is what got to me. So as I'm trying to kick people out, right, there's this one Brazilian dude named Fernando. First of all, he comes up to me like I like 8:10 and it's like, can I buy a drink? And I'm just looking at him. I said, no, like so monotone, so blatant, like bluntly, whatever, my bad if that was rude. And he was like, well, why not? And I just looked at him and looked around and I said, the power's off, none of the computers are on, I can't open the register for you. Oh, well, for later. I said, no, I have to deal with the power being off and being the only one here right now. I really can't. Also, bring your own drinks to the gym if you know you're going early, especially if you're going early. Like, don't be waiting for the staff to walk in and talk about can I get something? Can they open? Can they clock in? Leave us alone. But anyway, so he's asking me for a water mad early. I said no. And he's just like giving me looks. I'm like, the power's off. What do you want me to do? So then fast forward to when I had to kick everybody out. I told him, I said, yeah, you know, unfortunately I got everyone has to go. He said, okay. Then I make a round to make sure everyone's actually leaving. Why I see him in the back just, I said, no, like, you have to leave right now, like, that I've been told by my boss and the regional, like, it's a liability, you have to go. I was so nice about it. I was so straightforward about it. I told him the reason why. You think it would just be very obvious because the lights are off. You're working out in the dark. And he was like, just 10 more minutes. And I was like, no, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm really stressed right now. I don't know what to do right now, but I know you need to leave. Like, I was being so honest about my anxiety, too, because, like, to everyone, I was like, I just walked into this. Like, I know as much as you do. I need you to cooperate. It gets to the point where I'm like, yeah, no, I really need you to go. He's like, what are you going to do? Take me out? After that, all customer services is done. After you want to be disrespectful, I can be disrespectful back, especially since I'm technically not clocked in and I have no business being here either. I said, I won't take you out, but I could happily call the police and then we can go ahead and cancel out your membership as well. And he says, okay. To the point where I go, all right, that's fine. I'll go do that. You are now trespassing. You need to get off of our property. And then he kept saying 10 more minutes, 10 more minutes. And I just happily said, like, you are not important. You are not more important than anybody else in this building who happily just walked out and followed instruction. One thing I will not do, I don't do entitlement unless quite literally you're owed something. Come to find out later, though, he wasn't even a paying member because his membership had canceled out the day before. And if I had known that as I was speaking to him, they need that discipline because clearly your mama ain't whoop you when you were a kid, so I'll be happy to do that because what it does take is a village. So Actually, later at the end of that shift, though, he came back in the facility, so I grabbed one of the personal trainers. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to help me be mean to this guy because I'm not dealing with him. I literally had to clock out in 5 minutes, and I was in the middle of a tour, and someone made me sign them up, and I'm like, I have to clock out. I hate when people press on my time. I don't care what it's for. So I had the trainer come over to go over to him and tell him, like, first I said, first of all, your membership is canceled, so you can't be here. And I said, second of all, your behavior this morning also means that you cannot be here. He actually apologized to me. Yo, I'm so sorry, you know, I was just in the middle of the workout and I just got really angry, but I took it out on you. I do apologize. I feel so bad. And I was just, well, all right, like, what am I supposed to do, hold a grudge on some random guy? It's just like, I don't really care that you were angry about a gym, about a workout. Something random is just being called sweetheart and hun and mommy by the Spanish speakers. I've been cussed out and hung up on the phone plenty of times, but that's any customer service calling. It's not really much of a gym thing. I got beef with the regional manager, high key, low key. We've had people puke consistently, like in three consecutive days in the men's room. Bless the Lord. Stay home if you feel sick, please, or don't eat before you come here. Speaking of eating, there was a whole man eating like a full container of potato salad. He going bah 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 on the punching bag, and then he stops and just I was watching him so very intently because I was about to ask him to stop eating or go home and eat, because what you're not about to do is do all this stupidity and expect someone to clean up all your hacking and your yakking when it happens. That's not happening. People are just so stupid. They don't like to put away the equipment. That's annoying. Like I'm literally gaining so much muscle. Look at that in my triceps. I'm gaining so much muscle definition because these idiots don't want to put stuff away. I don't want to pick up the heavy weights. I don't. Stop doing it. Other times is like people come up to me and they're like, hey, do you have this machine? I just work the front desk. This guy comes in at like 10 and he don't leave till 2:30, and I just look at him in craziness because, like, you're insane. I'm sorry, it's a little weird to me. There was another time a customer was upset from the previous manager because that previous manager really just wasn't a good manager at all, and not because of the alcoholism. She didn't do the managerial duties, so like she didn't cancel people when they asked to be canceled, and we found out like later she either just put a 6-month freeze to make people think that they were canceled out, and like so the people weren't seeing themselves get charged. They're like, okay, great, I've been canceled like I asked, right? So then they would see themselves start to get charged after 6 months, and they're like, so we had to refund a lot, I think. And so this lady like consistently calling the phone, like to the point where I can't like do my duties of calling people about other things, because it was like every 2 seconds, every 5 seconds, she kept leaving voicemails, F you, blah, 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 leave this place, blah, 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 all types of stuff, just cussing up a storm on the phone messages. And I was like, wow. Hold on, because my ADHD just kicked it so bad. Again, because of that boss, because people would just would be literally coming mad at her, mad at the facility, mad at like the overall company. And I'm just here for a paycheck. This Brazilian lady came in, and long story short, she kept asking for the manager, and my manager was clearly hungover and not in the facility yet. So I kept saying, no, she's not here. I hope she'll be here soon, but she's not here right now. To the point where she comes back in, agent manager here. I go, no, not yet. So sorry, she usually doesn't come until like later in the afternoon. She gets pissed at me. No one never wants to communicate, blah, 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 blah. No one wants to answer the phone, or blah, 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 blah. Or my emails. And I was like, again, that's up to the manager. Like, I can no longer help at the level that the situation's at. It was like during the election period. So then she goes, it's places like this who are taking people's money. That's the reason why Trump is gonna win. I won't even finish the rest of it yet, because pause. I said she's Brazilian, right? She had a heavy accent, so I know she's not. You saying that as a Brazilian woman, saying that Trump is going to win when Trump don't even like you or your people. But no, what really got to me was after that she goes, you guys taking my money is like slavery. The nigga was too stunned to speak. All I have to do is be black and die, okay? Crazy times, like I would work 10-hour Saturdays or 10-hour Fridays for these people. Like I'm blatantly on the phone. I got the phone on me. This kid gonna come up and lean up on the counter like this, lean up on the counter like that. How much is a t-shirt? I said, all I did was look at him and I go, with like the obvious look, are you patience? Please don't ask me stupid questions. I hate that men in the gym, right? Like when they finish a set, they and then this is them walking around all slow, just because they're trying to breathe, and I understand that, but why is it that you're moving all over the place when you could stay in one spot? It's quite literally always in the way of somebody. They're either walking in a walkway, or I'm trying to speed walk and they go in my way at the last minute. The men at the gym piss me off the most. These two ladies were literally, I literally just went to pee and I wanted to wash my hands, and they're just standing right in front of the stalls and the sinks and everything, just showing each other stuff on their phones, and I was this close to being like, this is not a social event. And there's also the fact that, you know, the gym itself doesn't even care about its employees and the overall franchise. Yeah, I don't have nothing else to talk about. I hope you enjoyed my rantage, and yeah, that's working at a gym. I wouldn't recommend it for anybody, actually. All right, thanks for watching. I don't know if I want to come up with like a thingamajigger that I say at the end of all my videos, like a little trademark quote, but yeah, okay, bye.